Hey Terrell, how's it going? What's up, Raz? I got the stuff in yesterday, Raz. I think it was yesterday. Everything looks good, except I gotta figure out where the hell to put this console. Let's see. I think the basketball looks okay. I don't know. I mean, it fits in the arm pretty good, right? I mean, I think that looks alright. I don't know, do you think it's... well, the problem is if we make it any larger, it's not going to fit. So I think we're just going to leave it like that. I think that's a good size. Once I put the cuff in our hand. I'm going to fill in the NBA though. I don't like the NBA on there. I like the Spalding, but I don't like that NBA. I'm going to fill that in. But I think it looks alright. Hey Jacob, how you doing? I had a good week. I got the Apocalypse kit all finished up. So all the large kits are finally done. So, doing good. We'll kind of decide later, but as far as the console goes, I'm not sure where to put it. You know, I'm kind of confused on where I should put the console now that I got it. Trying to think, like, do we put the console back here? Like, do we put it, like, back here? Or do we put it, like, at an angle? Or do we put it in the front? The only problem is her leg's in the way, you know? Or do we put it over here? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Or do we put it back here? Hey, what's up, Scott? Yeah, I'm at a loss for this. I mean, we can decide later when everyone's in, but... I mean, it's a good scale. So you're thinking maybe just leave it as, like, a piece that they can put somewhere? Or do we do something like maybe at an angle like this? My theory was like leave it like here at an angle. So this way, if you're looking at it with the chair, it's like right there, like that. That's the only thing I could think that looks decent the way this is set up, you know. So I'm thinking if I can leave it. What I could do is, what Jacob said, is maybe what I could do is I can make it so it's removable, but it also can attach here. Hey, what's up, Raccoon? So I'm thinking maybe like right there would be fine. Yeah, I could do that, but the problem is, you're venturing into too much work. You know, I'm thinking. Sorry, let's move this over here. I'm thinking kind of just at an angle, like right there. See, the problem is the way her legs are, you know. Or can't really put it in front of her. I mean, I could put it in front of her like that, but then you kill everything that you're seeing. thought about putting it over here. But I'm thinking more of the angle would probably be the best option. Unless we just scrap the console altogether, that's the other thought, kind of thing that kind of came across my mind, you know? It's, if her legs were positioned different, probably I could come up with a better idea, but I don't know. Because the way it's supposed to be is, if you have it on the chairs, like there would be one console like that next to the chair, you know. I'm thinking our best option would be here. Or we do it this way. You mean have it this way? Sorry, your chat's a couple seconds behind, or a couple minutes. So what do you guys think? Just put a console like this? And what I'll do is, because I had a block of resin here, what I could do is I could put a block or two of resin underneath of it and sort of frame it to the point where this is even instead of curved. And I can have it like flat here. I mean, the only problem if I leave it separate, which I don't mind, just maybe make it separate so it's like back here, over here like this. So it just kind of floats back there like that. Not connected to the base at all. Hey, what's up, Iceman? Like that. Yeah, I could set it higher. Alright, that's what we'll do. I'll set it up about this high to the chair. Like right about there. And what I'll do is I'll put it, so we'll put it much like, I guess maybe about that high. I mean, honestly, if you look at the original pictures that you found, they're not, these are next to like the officer chairs, and they're actually not that high from the chair. They're actually a little bit lower. But, so I guess what I'll do is I'll grab a block of wood or something, and what I'll do is I'll just raise it up about that high. Something like that. I'm fine with that. Because if, you know, now that I think about it, this is like, I guess, a lesson learned. If I ever do something like this again with a chair, I need to get all the elements together in one shot and design it together, than to put her on the chair and then try to add it later. but it's a lesson learned, you know. So we'll do that. I'll just have to get a block of wood or something and attach it. So you're thinking more something where it's kind of a half base where someone can kind of put it like this sort of thing? If they want to move it like there, or if they want to move it in front type thing. Alright, I'll do that. So what I'll do is I'll get a block of wood and I'll cut it to a certain height and I'll put it on there. I'll keep this hollow because this is printed hollow. So this way all the weight will stay at the bottom. And if I have to, I'll use some you know, Bondo or something, and I'll set it up. Yeah, we'll just do something like that, because it's you know, because people, you know, whoever the guy that interested, he might not even want the console, so he might just want a displayer like that. So yeah, if I was gonna do a little bit crazier, you could do you know, you could go buy one of those Japanese like computer things, and you could cut out the screen and put it in, like on Wish.com or something. But all right, we'll come up with something like that for. We'll keep the main focus on her for now. All right, do that. I'll let him know, Jacob. I'll tell him. Raz also printed out the stars, and I think this one is the smallest one, which would go on her chest. So let's I'm not gonna put it on yet. I gotta get everything done first. Then what I'll probably do is Dremel out a little tiny little patch, and then I'll put this in. But he did a good job of printing it out. I forget, does it go down or does it go up? Which way does it go? Like that? Goes like right about there. So we'll get that put on later. Okay. Yeah, we gotta finish up the hand and get her all cleaned up yet, so. And we gotta do her cuffs on her wrists. So we got a little bit more to go on that. Alright, as far as Lola goes, basketball is in. I'm going to fill in the NBA. I don't like the NBA on the basketball. I don't mind the Spalding, but I want to get rid of the NBA. But it fits in her arm pretty good. So, we have the basketball pretty much set up. So what I have to do is I have to do her wrist. And then I got to figure out... We have a little bit of a spot here for the, you know, supports or whatever. So I guess that's going to go like underneath the arm. So it'll go something like that. So we have the basketball. It's actually a good sculpt. Thanks, Terrell, for sending it. So this will be kind of a fairly easy paint up. It's just a matter of figuring out how I'm going to get it in her arm. Also, dremeled out a hole so I can start working on the tail. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this piece of hollow brass in there, and then this way I can sort of sculpt the tail and sort of be able to paint it and glue it in at the end type thing. So I got to work on that. And then we have Bugs Bunny. So Bugs was printed out. I dremelled out some stuff here. So we're going to put Bugs down in here, and his tongue is going to be sticking out. Hey, what's up, Jerry? So Bugs will be down there. His tongue will be sticking out. What I did is I dremelled out the head, so this way, instead of the head looking forward, I want him looking up more. So he's going to be looking up at her more, like so, like that. Alright, so we got all these elements to get going. So let's start getting this stuff set up. Alright, so as far as this piece goes, throw a bunch of glue up in here. So what I like to do is, if you can, something like, so if you put this in here and you put too much glue in there and then you try to pop it out and it hits any of this metal, it'll lock it into place. But if you put some Insta-Set on the piece of metal and you're fast enough, you can kind of get it in there. Hold on, where is this? So that should lock into place pretty well. Okay, so we'll let that sit a bit. Now as far as Bugs goes, so the idea with Bugs, after it was printed up, so if you just put like a drop of glue or you put some kind of eaves there with that neck, it's really not going to secure it. So what I did is I dremelled a hole through the whole thing, and I'm going to put a rod all the way through it. So this way, it'll lock in pretty well, and then you can just put him in and out of the base, so he's removable. And then his ears are going to have to be a little bit more secure. So what I think I'm going to do with the ears is I'm probably going to Dremel out some of the ear with a bendable rod, like one of my brass rods. And then what I'll do is I'll put the rod in there, around there, and I'll lock it in with eaves. So this way it'll be more durable. Because just putting a drop of glue in there, one wrong thing and you'll snap it right off. So I want to make sure that while he goes in and out of the base, by holding his head, it's not going to like break and fall apart. So I want to take those extra steps. So what we'll do first is try to get the body lined up. Double check. Okay. So see if I lined it up, I got that little bit of a gap I'll fill in. So let's, it's gonna be a little tricky. Let's try with a little bit of glue first. Do is mix up some eaves too before this falls over. Let's let's get some Aves going. Figure if I get all these elements all set up, we can start working on the base next week. Base is going to take a while, so that'll be a long session working on that. Sounds like you did a lot of testing. There's a metal varnish. I didn't know there was a metal varnish. That's interesting. I'll have to look into that. Alright. I need this to be straight. Doesn't need to be deep either. It doesn't need to go that high. Alright. So what we'll do is we'll do it in this side first. Glue down in there. Grab some of our Insta-Set. Bring this down to right about there. That looks about straight. Alright, Insta-Set helps the glue straighten up, so we have the rod pretty much straight through. That should help get the head looking up, but we need to fill in the bottom first. So let's grab a tool, make sure it's clean. If you don't have Aves and you want to just use glue, you can do this with just glue. But I usually like to let the Aves get in there and lock it in. Just kind of squeeze it in there as best as you can. You don't have to fill the whole entire thing, but if you get enough in there, It'll help lock it. It'll be pretty durable. And worst case scenario, if you feel that after everything's cured it's not set up correctly, you know, you can actually Dremel in back there going alongside the metal, and then you could create a hole and shove more eaves in there if you need to. But there's a lot of glue up in there. I just don't like putting too much glue in after I put this in, because if you start getting glue all over the metal, it's a pain in the ass to scrape off, and it doesn't go in those brass rods too well. And if you have a piece, you can sort of jam it in. You need a thinner one. You can do that. Okay, that should lock in pretty well. Oh, and I also grinded out the tip of this, and I sanded this all down, because when it goes into the brass rod, if you have the part that's all chopped up from the handsaw, it won't go in. So always prep up your bottom piece first. Alright, so that will go right like there. And the head. Yep, perfect. Alright, so this one's going to be a little trickier. So there's two ways of doing it. One, put a bunch of eaves in there, and then put a little bit of glue around the neck and lock it into place and let it sit. Or put a bunch of glue in there and then shove eaves in. I'm going to put eaves in first, and I'm going to put glue around there. Now, it might look messy, but I could Dremel that out and clean it up anyway. I'd rather it lock in with eaves more than glue. I know a lot of people would just say glue it and be done, or use like an epoxy, two-part epoxy. I like eaves because once it's cured, it's like rock hard in there forever. And I just rather let it sit for, you know, a night and really lock into place. Just a preference. But usually with something like this, though, kind of get a little bit of a starter. Get some of that out of there. Okay. And always be careful too of your Insta-Set with your glue. This is my last gel glue bottle. I need to order more. And if I lock this up, I'm screwed over the next couple days. I gotta order it tomorrow or tonight. I go through this stuff so fast, but it makes life so easier. Ever since I found the gel, everything's been easier to glue. Alright, so what we'll do here is just put a bunch of glue around here. What this does, it locks it into place and it lets it stay where you need it to for until the eaves cures up. And we'll grab our Insta set. Take the body without getting the glue all over my fingers. Basically, just like that. Now, if it stays, you can actually wipe away the excess while you have a chance, so you don't have to sand all that down. Like I said, it's going to be seamed up, and then grab your Insta set and just lock it in. And then tomorrow I can just, or whenever, I can seam it all up. Now, just because you use the Insta set and it's locked into place doesn't mean you can still twist it and bend it and mess it all up, because, you know, the eaves still has to cure, but at least it'll hold it in place. Like if you just did glue and it didn't, like, you know, you only kind of cure it up, it'll stay, but that'll lock into place pretty well. So we'll kind of leave him right there for a second, and I'll show you how he's looking up. So I sanded down the tongue because it had a lot of support notches on it. So we'll just glue the tongue in at the end. So he's got a good look up at there. So once it's all set up and we set it for the base, I'll turn him to get a really good bird eyes view of it, you know. And then once that's all ready for next week, we'll get him lined. What I might do is just get him set up for the base before the next stream. You know, I'll do the same thing with the brass rod, line him up and everything, and then from there, basically, we'll start breaking up the wood and we'll start try to create the basketball court scene. Yeah, this one, this worked out pretty good. This is gonna be a pretty good setup. If you let your Insta set dry up, because Insta set kind of dries up pretty fast. Well, not fast, but it does kind of go away. Like in about a good 10 minutes or so, I can actually start sort of seaming a little bit of this neck up if I wanted to with some eaves. But since the Insta set is sort of there, kind of... The other thing too is I don't like to handle it too much, because if you hit it the wrong way, you could break that glue, and then the eaves is soft and you can twist it, and it's better sometimes just to take it and put it aside. But yeah, I like that Bugs is a little bit smaller too, because with a lot of, like, you know, like Space Jam and the animated characters, they're usually smaller than the humans, so I think it works out pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna put those rods in the head and ears, so we'll do that, get that set up for next time. So we'll put Bugs on the side. That's pretty much ready to... That's gonna work out pretty good. Now, as far as her booty goes, for the tail, now, there's a couple ways of doing this. One, trying to think of the best way of doing it. could put tape. Reason why I want a removable is it'll be easier to paint than to try and sculpt it on and then all that stuff. Sorry, my eye. I'll show you what I'm planning on for the tail. Hold on. You don't have to worry about the way the rod is. That's just to hold it. So, let's mix up some more A's. Because what's going to happen is that I'm going to create the basic shape, let it cure to the, I was dremeling yesterday, I got dust in my eye, it's still in there, it's going away, but I also want to be able to detail it more than trying to detail it on her butt, so I want a removable if I have to add more, but you'll see. Hold on, let's just mix this up. I think I also need to do is make sure I don't stick to the brass part. So even when I pull it off, is there any tape stuck to the A's, I can Dremel that out. It'll be covered anyway. So the idea is, what I want to do, put this on, and then sort of, like that, sort of comes up. Let's see how far we can sculpt this. So like I said, what might happen is I might have to sort of sculpt more and more details after it's like on. So I want it to be a little fluffy tail. So if for some odd reason I have to Dremel some out, I can do it later. And I also want to try to stylize it. Alright, it's going to be a little bit difficult. There we go. The hard part is trying to get on that side, but that's why I'm making it removable. So just keep trying to give it a little ice cream cone type thing. need to letting it toughen up a bit. But what do you guys think of this? Down. Come on. Get. There we go. Of course, you know, we'll detail it up more. I might make it a little bit bushier on the sides when I can pop it out. Of course, I can't get in here to clean up this area over there. You know, I want to try to make it pointy, come down to a bushiness, but then curve back in. And it's kind of hard to do it this way. So I need to actually have it in my hand so I could kind of curve it around, you know. But it's giving me a good starting point and kind of how I want to make it look. So like even if I have to pop it out and sand around the edges and then sort of sculpt and like push it in and kind of so I want to get it that like, you know, stylized rabbit kind of point. And I know it doesn't really have a point, so I want to try to get rid of this point so it's kind of more of a not as like pointy like hair. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to do right now. We gotta let it kind of toughen up a bit, and I can work on it a little bit more. So so if you're looking at her, you really don't see it, but if you kind of turn around, she's got the hidden tail on her, so that kind of works. What I want to do real quick though, kind of wash these out real fast. Yeah, it's coming along pretty well. I still got a lot of fine tuning to do. I just working on that thing and the Apocalypse statue's just been taking a lot of my time. But Apocalypse is done, so I'm actually pulled out a few kits to work on. So to actually fit these in with cleaning up the kits and getting those ready for paint, I can actually start fine tuning these items. So that's kind of a good little timetable going on right now. So I want to, well, next time I'm in the garage drilling, I want to drill holes so this way I can line up the shoelaces. So what I'm doing is this will help me set up where I need to put the holes. So basically I can Dremel here, here, and just go down the line with a little hole. So this way when I start doing the laces, I know that this lace can connect to that hole and do one line going up, let it cure, and then do the other line. Try to even it out. Instead of trying to eyeball it, it's good to kind of use a ruler to give me a basic idea where the stuff's going. And I was thinking of not doing even shoelaces like tied. I was just thinking of like put the laces down and let the lace hang down on the edges, just for the hell of it. I haven't gotten that far yet, but so what I'll do is once the once the holes are in, basically just take a little bit of Aves, you know, a little bit of a Aves thing, and then basically you put one here, and then that connects underneath the lace type thing. So you do it like that, and you just go down the line, and then this one goes underneath, but then goes over top, you know, and you just keep doing that up and down the line. I was thinking of investing in one day. You ever see those 3D pens? You know, it's just like a pen, and then you hit the button and you can draw, and it's got that like resin or like plastic come out of it. I was thinking of getting one of those and seeing if that would work for like doing lines, like laces. You know, I gotta look into that. Has anyone ever used one of those? I've seen Instagram videos where people actually sit there with a pen and they create like a box and then they start sculpting over it. But I wonder if that stuff would actually be durable to put on a statue. Like say you wanted to create a line, you know, without sculpting it, like can that pen just kind of create that line and stay? Yeah, I've seen them, and I'm kind of curious if the... See, my problem though is like, say you wanted to create a line of like cloth, like say you wanted to create a line coming down, would that pen thing stick to this, and would it stay, or would it like, just like if you hit it, would it like break off with this? I gotta get one and kind of, or look into it and see if it works. They seem like they would be crazy good to do like seams on like outfits. I don't know, something to look into. Alright. Let's see now. Next thing to figure out. Basketball. Well, I don't want to mess with the basketball too much in case I hit the tail. But I'm going to fill in the Spalding. I don't like this, not the Spalding, the NBA. I don't want the NBA on the basketball. I wouldn't mind the NBA on there, but it's so big. I think Spalding would just be fine. And then what I'll do is once it cures up, just sand it down, and that should fill that in pretty well. That's good on that front. I did contact the guy from what is it, Extreme X ID Cows. So he says once he gets a chance and he's home, we're gonna try to work on doing the logo. So he said that there might be a way where he can print it and make it a little bit thinner film, I guess. Because the ID decals that he gave me are really, really thick. So I'm thinking if I try to put that decal on here, it might be way too thick to do it. But if he can make it a little bit thinner, we'll see if it works. But what I'm still debating, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a sponge, and I'm going to like dab white on it afterwards to make it look like the logo is older and worn out, than to try to make it a perfect looking logo. So we're going to do that when once he gets to it. We're going to work it out and stuff, because he might try to give me some other decals for a statue I'm working on for a friend. So maybe that'll open up some possibilities. So at least that's in the works now too. Alright, so let's put her aside. Come back to the tail in a few. Alright. Now onto her hand. Alright. Got a lot done with the hand, so I'm thinking before we do the fingers, let's work on the cuffs. Just do a cuff or careful that damn fingers. Sculpting it a little bit thicker, but I'll sand it down a bit. Alright, so I'll be able to sand this down a little bit once it's cured. Oops. Yep, that looks a little bit better than what it was. That's good. Go roll out some of this in the garage real quick. So anybody got plans for the weekend? Tomorrow there's a comic book show up North Jersey, well not North Jersey, Mid Jersey, north from me. Going to check it out. It's like the Super Jersey Expo or something. Go check it out. See, it's only a one-day show, but I figure what the hell, me and my couple friends are gonna go to it. That sounds like a plan, Raz. Yeah, I would, if I wasn't going to the show, I'd be doing some personal stuff tomorrow, but trying to do more comic book shows. Just to get out of the house and do stuff. I gotta really thicken up this wrist. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I gotta get the hand glued in first, or mostly set before I can set this up. It's getting there, little by little. Alright, now onto this hand. Gotta get the headgear on for this. You got the Jessica Rabbit for them? Why didn't you just buy the STL file? Is that the one from, whatchamacallit? Oh, I thought you had a printer. Why did I think you had a printer? You could have had Raz print it for you. I bought the file. I have it. I'm gonna have my friend print it out for me, or I'll ask Raz to do it, one or the other. I thought you had a printer for some reason. I guess I was mistaken. Well, the only reason why I wouldn't order from them is because it was a 1/6 scale. Because I want to print her out a 1/4 scale. That's kind of why I want to have it printed. Oh yeah, that I knew right away that would reach the goal real fast. I didn't see that one. She's on the throne? I'll have to look for that one. Is it on the 2046 site, or is it on? Is it just a statue that somebody sculpted on in a group or something? I don't know if it's on like We Are Collectors Instagram page. I might have missed it. I'll have to look for it. I've been crunching these statues this week. I haven't really paid much attention to what's going on. I know Sideshow's doing Spooktacular this weekend, or whatever. So far, nothing super amazing from them. I'm not really into horror or Halloween stuff, so... Wait, they messed up on a print? Oh, wow. Yeah, only Sideshow would do that. Well, then again, other companies do that stuff too, so as long as they rectify it, I guess that's all that counts. I'm sure the artist probably just saw, you know what it is the artist probably saw stacks and stacks of papers and just the bottom of the paper to sign. Probably never even looked at the top of them. Probably thought everything was okay. Yeah, now you got me curious. I want to see it. Yeah, I've seen like what CGC does, and a lot of these guys that sign stuff in masses, they're just stacks of papers, and you only see the bottom of the paper on each one, and they just sign going down the thing, and then they get the hell out of the office. So a Catwoman, girl's best friend. Alright, so where is the error? You said code mark? It's in the bat symbol? Alright, hold on. Oh, I see it. Yeah, that's a misprint. That's not that good. In my experience, it's not the printer's fault, it's Sideshow's fault, because they probably got a test print, and if they looked at it and they said it was good to go and they told the printer to print, then they printed. So for that, you can't blame the printer, you have to blame Sideshow, because they said okay. Now, if Sideshow didn't get a test print and the printer did it on their own, then it's a different story. But I'm pretty sure the company was like, no, we're going to make sure Sideshow tests this out. Unless it was an internal thing. Unless Sideshow's doing internal prints on their own now. I don't know. Well, you'd be surprised. I've come to the conclusion a lot of these companies, people are not fans, or they're not qualified to be in the position that they're in, because companies want to save a buck. So you probably have somebody in there who's never worked in like, you know, for advertising or with printers. That's possibility number one. Or, which also, if it is the printer's fault, they could have some intern in there who doesn't know what the hell they're doing, and they put the wrong file in, you know? They could have approved one file, but the intern messed up and grabbed the file from like 5 months ago, you know? That's a possibility too. Could be a lot of things, but at the end of the day, it's someone's fault. And as long as you don't, you know, you're not screwed out of any money, that's all that counts. Now, if you got screwed out of the money, that would be different. Okay, so we got those fingers done. So I just got to do the thumb left, and then start setting it into the hand correctly, and we're good. Okay. Could be worse, you know. Could have been like a really. I could, you know, looking at it more, I could see how they missed it, you know, because you figure if you look at the print, you're looking at the figure most of the time. You're not looking all the way up top, but still, I mean, you're still paying money for something that shouldn't be like that. So. Okay, here. And over there. Let's grab Bugs' head. Sad thing though is because this is a mess up, what's going to happen is Sideshow's going to lose a little bit of money on the returns and all that stuff, and the printer's going to lose money. So what they're going to do is next time they come out with a print, they're going to jack up with it a little bit more money to offset their cost of losing all the money on this item. So, or they'll use it as a tax write-off. But most of the time, most companies always offset their costs in another way. That's one thing I learned in advertising with the printers. Wow, they offered you only $10? Holy crap. I think for Terrell, for Sideshow, for me, it seems they put out maybe 1 or 2 items a year now that, like, spark my interest, but I don't think there's anything they've put out in ages that I, like, had to get, like, pre-order day one. I mean, there's so much out there with STL files and Patreons and, you know, there's just so much competition out there. It's getting to the point now where I'm looking toward other places for stuff I'm interested in. Well, when I got that Catwoman statue, it came broken, and they offered me, I think it was $30 back to keep it, and I was like, yeah, I'll take it, because I'm gonna customize it anyway. But I guess it's cheaper for them just to say, hey, we'll give you a couple bucks and to ship it back and forth, and then have to do all that stuff. this point, Sideshow should just offer up a broken sale. Like, these items are broken. There's this much money, come and get them, you know? I'm sure they would sell. Yeah, well, that's the Catwoman I got was from Seconds, and it was broken. It probably was broken before they even shipped it out to me, but that's why it was in Seconds, because it was probably a return. And they were probably like, hey, we'll give you so much money back just to keep it. And I was like, yep, I'll keep it. I'm like, screw it. Yeah, Terrell, that's the problem with the Patreon stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't blame them for doing a Patreon. You know, you're making money and more power to you. But the thing is, they're banging out one sculpt a month, so you're not really putting a lot of time and effort into it. Even though you might be putting a month's effort, you're still, you know... And some of the sculpts, sometimes the sculpts are amazing, and sometimes they're not. But that's just the nature of the whole Patreon thing. If you want to try to get out one sculpt a month, you know, you're not really putting a lot of detail and effort into it. So sometimes there's a lot of problems with the sculpts, and other times they're like passable. But that's just where we're at with the hobby. Yeah, it's you gotta understand though, it goes everywhere. So even back in the day when people were doing, you know, like a bust run, you know, they would get like 25 people involved and do like 25 busts or whatever. It was always the most popular characters that would sell. And that's just the nature of it is. They're always gonna do what sells and makes some money. You know, they're not gonna do like Booster Gold or Blue Beetle because it's older school characters and not many people want them. So that's what Sideshow does, you know, they're going to keep doing the Harley Quinn and Joker and Superman because that's what sells. And I'm guilty of doing it too sometimes with side customs. Sometimes you just got to do the same character over and over because, you know, it'll put, you know, food on the table. So... Yeah. Yeah, that's, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like to see the other characters too, but... Yeah, Warbird Miss Marvel though is just, it's just one of those designs that is so much fun to sculpt, and it was such a good time for the character too, back in the day. So I think that's why she's so much fun to do with the Warbird. I love the design of the outfit. I liked her character back in, like, you know, the day with West Coast of, I think it was West Coast Avengers. It was a really fun character back then. Now she's just trash, but a lot of the old school outfits I like, you know. I think the only Sinister I think that looked good was the one with Goblin Queen on his hand, on his hip. I think that's the only one that I kind of thought was decent. Juggernaut, eh. I think Sideshow's Juggernaut was probably the best one out there right now. I'm just over the X-Men stuff. I don't really care about the X-Men stuff anymore at all. The era of X-Men has been long over, so there's only so many Jim Lee X-Men characters I can see sculpted to care anymore. Keep the cat. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. But going back to the Patreon stuff, you're right about art direction. Sometimes I feel that people sculpting a character don't know the character at all. You know? Because sometimes, like, the base or sometimes the elements of the character, it's like, well, that doesn't really fit the character too well, you know? So sometimes I feel some people don't know the character very well. Or at all. I'm not trying to be an ass about it, but it's the truth, you know? Like, for instance, for X-Men. Every X-Men statue has a Sentinel base. It's like, yeah, they fought the Sentinels, that was a big thing back then, but there's a lot of other stuff you could be putting in the bases that tell a story of that character besides the Sentinel base, you know? Yeah, that's the only Sinister I kind of thought that was good, decent, you know? Yeah, like Wolverine on the snow base could work, but maybe you throw some other elements in there. Like, say, if there was a specific storyline where Wolverine was in the snow and, like, maybe he was fighting Punisher or some other character, or, like, maybe throw some of those elements in the base, you know? That if people who know the character well enough might have read that story and be like, oh, that's a cool element, you know? Stuff like that's kind of fun to look at, but lately I've noticed a lot of people aren't going crazy with bases like they used to. It seems like they've toned a lot of it down, and it's kind of more simple museum stuff, which is better to my opinion. I'm not really a fan of the crazy bases. I mean, not that I'm buying it, but I'm just saying I'm just kind of sick of looking at those crazy bases that would take up half your display instead of seeing the character. Well, as long as the base works with the character, you know, it's cool, but just my personal collection, I'd rather just see the character. Or a simple base. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about, Terrell. That's cool. That's a cool idea. The Ivy Hutch, I think so. I have to go back and look at that one again. A custom out there? What do you mean? Somebody that's making something I have to have, or something I'm working on? Oh, one that's been released that I would like to have? Not really. Out of all the ones I've seen, I mean, there's a lot that are nice, but nothing that was like, holy crap, I can't live without that item. There's really none out there, to be honest. I mean, if there really was one out there that I had to have, I would probably have it already. But personally, nah, there's really nothing that's been like, I will sell my soul to the devil to get, you know? Oh yeah, I know that one you're talking about. I've seen that one. Yeah, there's nothing, you know, there's nothing like, holy crap, you know, it's like, my god, that's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. As of right now, I pretty much have a lot of my grails. Like that Iron Kite Studios Hinata from Naruto, that was like the holy grail of Hinata from the anime, that I was like, I had to have that one. I'm waiting on the Bayonetta from Hummingbird Studios. That Bayonetta is like a holy grail for me as well. There's a Naruto statue that I asked Spec Fiction to get for me, Todd from Spec Fiction. I forgot who produced it, but that one's awesome. And other than that, I pretty much have everything I want right now. Or customs I'm working on for myself. You know what it is? A majority of the fan art items out there are just stuff I don't care about. You know? It's just, you know, I don't know. It's like I'm not really into the X-Men stuff like I was when I was younger. A lot of the Avengers stuff I could care less about. And right now everything is Venom and Spider-Man, so I don't care about any of that stuff. That Magneto, Man X, so I don't remember the Apocalypse on that one. I do, you know, I look at the every day of We Are Collectors on Instagram, and I see all the new items coming out. And sometimes, like, oh my god, that's awesome. I might want to get that, but then I'm like, it's not a character I care about. Now, see, a Wildcats line would be cool, but not any characters I would care for. So I think Wildcats is kind of like something you would have to get done on your own or hire a sculptor or something, you know? I do think two characters I would like to have, but it's not something I would say I would rush out and like not pay my mortgage for a month to get, which would be Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, the old school looking of those two. Those would be a cool little bit of a setup I would like to have in my collection. I would love to see those characters done, but I don't think anyone will really do those two. There's an STL booster. Is it like the classic booster? Send me an email of it. Let me show it to me. If it's something that I like, I'll get one printed out. I think the only line I would really like to have, like if I was to do a team, I would like the JSA team. I think that's the only team I would really want to do. Or, actually, if I was to really do a team, I would like the Kingdom Come characters, like where they're all sitting at the table. That would be like a team I would like to do. You know, the Superman, Wonder Woman, and all those guys. but I'm not really into building teams, so I have to get a Kingdom Come Superman in my collection. That's definitely one I'm missing, actually. I know there was a couple good sculpts of him, but I never got in on those kits. Maybe one day I'll see if they're ever out there. Someone's selling them or something. Didn't Eric Sosa do a Kingdom Come Superman a long time ago? Did the file leak, really? Wow. I think that one I liked a lot, but I didn't jump on it because I was like, eh. Because I think it was too expensive at the time. You know, there's always times in my life where there's like, oh, I have the money to pick something up, but they're not nothing I want. And then when there's something you want, you just don't have the cash for it, so it's the way it is. Or taste change, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad I didn't buy that item because it takes like 5 years to come out. Nerd Ranger, yes. I actually just finished up her jeans this week. I just have to edit the video and post it. If you give me a second, I'll show you where I'm at with it. Want to work on this a little bit more, but okay, it's starting to come together a bit. Yeah, I'm getting back into the groove of things. I'm starting to get back into getting on customs and kits and catching up. So finally had a chance to get back onto her. So I got the jeans all worked out, almost, pretty much. So I did rips on the front of the jeans. I worked out the jeans back in there. And so I just have a little bit of a cleaning up to do still. But that's kind of where I'm at with her. So it's getting there slowly. But like I said, now that I'm back onto the groove of things. So what I gotta do is I gotta edit the video on the jeans, and then I'm gonna start working on the shirt and the upper body on her. Oh, my eaves goes bad. But yeah, I'm pretty happy to get back to working on her. It's okay. They put it. They made about what, 1,000 of them or so. So there's plenty out there. Yeah, I'm gonna start moving more on her as I get a chance. Things are just getting better as far as workflow for now. So what I'm trying to do now is when I'm prepping kits and I'm all the other stuff. Tagmo? Yes, that was you could scroll back. That's the jeans on Mary Jane. There wasn't a shirt of Deja. Deja was in underwear and the bikini top. I took all that out. Yeah, so the way it works now is, now that I'm getting back into the groove of stuff, so what I'm doing is some days I'm in the garage now prepping kits and priming and getting ready for you know, paint, and then when I'm starting to like customize stuff, well, I'm getting back into the groove, like, okay, I gotta sculpt like this item on that, I gotta sculpt this item on that, so I can put Mary Jane into all that stuff. I gotta think twice now by taking on larger kits, like those, the Apocalypse and Thing and stuff. I try to keep that stuff toward the summertime, but those things become so much work, it's gotten out of hand. But I haven't really been asked to do a lot of the larger stuff anymore. But I'm gonna post these videos up this weekend. So as I'm building kits, I have a what is it, Captain Britain. So I'm putting this kit together. I'll put up the video on Sunday if I remember to get edit. So I'm building kits again with everything else. Oh, just broke my glasses. And then I'm doing this Banshee kit. Where's his head? So this is a Banshee kit I'm working on too. So yeah, I'm just kind of plugging away, getting back in the groove of things. What did I break? Oh. And then every once in a while, I do my own personal stuff still. So I got some personal things I'm working on. So hopefully as those progress, I'll get videos of that stuff up as well. You use eaves to fix it? Is it holding up okay? I've repaired holes in my wall with eaves. When I was renting too, back in around 2008, 2009, there was a load-bearing wall, so it was concrete, and I remember trying to drill into it to do a hang a picture, and a big chunk came out. So what I did is every time I had extra eaves, I patched it and then I painted over it. So when we left the apartment, I didn't have to worry about that crap. Hey, if it works and it holds, then you got a sledgehammer with some sculpt on it. Screw it. If it works, it works. Yeah, once the Mary Jane is done too, I could put her up for sale. Getting to the point where I'm sick of looking at the statue on my shelf. Trying to get all these side items done. I also started chopping up the Storm statue too, the Sideshow Storm that I have. So now that I got that custom head out, and I don't have the shoulder pads anymore, I want that statue off my floor. So I was in the garage working on kits, chopping stuff, so I put that in there and I started chopping that one up as well. Hopefully when she's done, some Storm fan would be interested in snagging her from me. The other thing too is I want to get a lot of boxes out of my house. Way, way too many side items. Soon, Raccoon, you're going to just be going around to family members' houses and repairing stuff with ease. Probably patch your car or something happens, and then when you sell it, some guy's going to have to fix it and be like, what the hell is this crap? You know, I've been messing with Bondo a little bit more lately on my bases. You know, just like the bottom of bases to smooth them out. And I did an experiment with some Bondo. What I did was I had a piece of Aves at a certain thickness, and I had a piece of Bondo at a certain thickness on wax paper. And then when I pulled them off, like Bondo just broke like instantly. Like I didn't even have to bend it a little bit, it just snapped instantly. With the Aves you had to give a little bit of pressure, then it broke. Yeah, like Bondo is kind of more expandable, I guess you can say. It's not really like, it doesn't seem to like cure like hard as a rock like Aves, so I guess it's good for like cars because of like the heat and cold, I guess. I don't know. It's like, unless you're using Bondo for cars, because I use the all-purpose Bondo. And honestly, it doesn't feel that strong to me. I'm not really a fan of using it like on statues. Like, I know some people patch like cracks with Bondo. Personally, I don't feel it's like durable. For the bottom of a base, so like say I make a generic base and I got a lot of bubbles and it's kind of like all messy. Bondo's great to kind of like spackle in there and fill it and smooth it out. But to put like Bondo on a crack and stuff, I don't know, I'm not really a fan of it. I mean, unless you guys in chat use Bondo for a lot and you like it, personally I'm not really a fan of it. I know a couple guys in the hobby, like the monster guys, they use Bondo a lot for like filling in cracks and seams. Like, so say I was able to sculpt this tail in Bondo, I don't feel it would kind of like sand like Aves and the bond to the rod like Aves does. If I don't know if you guys have ever messed with Bondo much. I don't know. I've tried, just not really, I don't really like what it does. Plus the fumes are insane. Alright, I think that's a good looking tail. It's got to be tweaked a bit here and there, but I think we're looking good. What do you guys think? A little bit more bushier once I could kind of get in there and tweak out the other side. But I kind of trying to curve it in a little bit more. Yeah, Bondo I think is just a cheap alternative, and like I said, I use it for bases, so not really a, you know. Her tail, I think her tail needs to be kind of like this off. It's like, I don't have a picture, but she's kind of like tan with a little bit of white in it, so it's not going to be white. So I'm thinking, like, do you know the darkness of that hair here, like that darker area of her hair going there? So I think it's going to be sort of that color. Trying to follow the cartoon, I think. Let me see, I got a couple pictures of her. I think, where are my pictures? All my pictures are closed. I gotta find my pictures. Yeah, what I want to do is, it's hard for me to do it right now, because the more and more I dig into it, the more and more I'm going to be pushing it this way. So I got to let it cure, I'll pop it out, and I'll sand it down, and I'll kind of curve it in a little bit more. I'll curve it just a little bit. Right now, it's hard to do that, because every time I cut out eaves and I try to dig into it, I just keep pushing the eaves down. So I kind of need to sand underneath of it and kind of curl it around more, if you know what I'm saying. Right now it's like, we'll let it cure, and then once it's cured I can pop it out from the rod and I can sand down the areas and I can tweak it. Plus I can't sculpt behind the tail up here because it's just, I can't get back there. Yeah, I mean, I sort of started creating that little curve in there. It's kind of hard to see. Did I get in there? So I sort of started creating the curve, but it's kind of hard. Like over here, it's a complete shit mess over there. You could tell. But if you look at it underneath here, I tried to start curving it in. So I think it's the what's killing it is the part up in there. Up in there is what over in here I can't get into, so I gotta kind of like chop that down and curve it in more. Yeah, it's funny, I could get this really looking good and I can get these nice lines, but over in there it's impossible without being able to pop it out and do it and then like squeeze it on, you know? So what I might have to do is when I pop it out, I might have to sand this down a little bit underneath in here, and I might have to create a little extra lines. But yeah, and you can tell like back here, like, I don't know if you can see it, like right in there. It's like all kind of really nasty up in here, so I'll be able to get into it later. Alright, so what I need to do is I gotta drill out the holes. in here, start working on the holes on there. I gotta start cleaning it up too because I'm starting to get too much of a mess on the legs. So that's starting to get really messy. I didn't get a chance to sand this down even back here. This part on her arm's all a mess over here. So I gotta sand all this down to clean this up. Gotta clean up all the back in here. I might as well put some putty on it now. Where is my tool? So I got to figure out a way to get the basketball in, whether the basketball is removable or not. And then once the basketball is set with her cuff, we can start working on the hair. And you can see I scratched the hell out of her arm over here like crazy. And then I gotta sand this part down just a little bit. I gotta clean this area up. Thanks, Nico. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're getting there slowly with it. You know, I was thinking of adding a little bit of stretch marks up in here and over here as well, but I gotta get in the garage and clean it up. And then I also want to add a little bit of a piece here to make it look like it's we'll put like a knot with some rope here as well. I have an idea on how to do this. We'll get to that later. And then after that, you know, once we get the shoelaces on and we get the basketball done, we got to just focus on the hair. And then we got to work on the base too. But Bugs is looking pretty good. So Bugs will be down in here. Let's put them like that for now. That was a good find. This Bugs Bunny is a good find for this. So I gotta Dremel out the ears. And once the ears are back there like that, that'll be pretty funny. Yeah, so I also if I can remember, I gotta stop off at a Michael's. Might need to get more wood stuff so I can start working on the base. So I made a picture of Booster. Let me look real quick. Didn't come through yet. Yeah, Bugs is gonna look good. This would be a funny looking item once it's all said and done. Seven and nine's coming together, so I'm gonna get this on a block of wood or something, or maybe I'll cut two pieces of this and I'll get two pieces on here so this could be removable. So this way if somebody wants to put it back here, they can, type thing. Alright, so what do I got left? Kind of go over. So I just got to fix up the console. I think I'm gonna have to now that I think of it, the console stuff, I'm gonna have to measure these out do some graphic work and see if my friend could print me stickers. And I'll look at that. Oh, you sent it to Instagram? All right, let me check real quick. I'm kind of curious on that. Want to see if it's something I'm actually interested in. Oh, yeah, that's not the version I'm into. Oh, I don't know which version of booster that is, actually. Yeah, I don't know what version of booster that is. I know the booster I'm into, the version I like, never had a cape. That must be like a newer version of them? Not really sure. I appreciate you sending it to me, but that's not the one, it's not the version I like. Alright, so next week, hopefully bugs will be ready. We can start working on the base a bit. Maybe I could fine tune the tail. And then I think I'm going to try to really plan out how to get the basketball in her arm. See how I'm going to plan that out. And hopefully I can get her cleaned up a little bit too. But I think next week we're really going to be working on the base. That's going to take a while. Figure out how to get that base going. And as far as 7 of 9 goes, I just got to finish up the hand and then clean her up really. Once I finish up the hand and I get this all set up, clean her all up, see if I need to do any more wrinkles or any kind of stretch marks, which I might, like a little bit more over here probably, and then get them all cleaned up. No, I appreciate you sending it to me, Terrell, but yeah, that's not the one I would be into. Maybe somebody will make the one I want down the line. It's the older school version of them. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to cut the stream today. I think we're doing pretty good. Next week we'll have a little bit more ready to go. And then once they're done, we're going to be painting these 3 items up. Be getting these things rolling with paint, because we still got the Harley Quinn I got to prep up too. So once they're done, it'll be a lot of paint work. Thanks, Nerdy, appreciate it. But yeah, we'll do a lot of paint work. I think paint streams will probably try to do a longer day of painting too, because it's going to take a lot of work. Alright, that's where I'm going to cut it, guys. I got to get ready for tomorrow, because I want to go hit that comic book show and stuff, grab some food. But thanks for stopping by, appreciate it. And we'll have some more stuff ready for next week.